And it's starting. Okay, again, this is chapter 2, section 5. So it says, how can you subtract decimals? This is very much, it's just identical to the lesson that we did on Friday. Friday's lesson was all about adding decimals. So one way you can do it, and I've shown you this before, you can use a number line, and that might help some of you. Another way you can do it is using partial products or partial differences. And so here's one example. It says find 5.92 subtracting 4.37. And so the first thing they do is they subtract the ones, 4 from 5. The next thing they do is they subtract the tenths. And that's going to be 3 from 9. And then finally you're going to subtract the hundredths. And so the answer they get here is 1.55, and that's 5.92 subtracting 4.37. Let's move down a little bit. I'm not worried about the convince me, so we're dropping down to page, you can turn the page to 63. We're jumping right into the guided practice. And I'm looking at number 1 here, and it says, how can you use addition to check that 1.55, which is the one I was just talking about, centimeters is the difference in the wingspans of the two butterflies they were talking about. And so I just highlighted it there. It's 5.92 subtracting 4.37. But the question is, how can you use addition to check your answer? So let's take a look at this here. It's 5.92, and we're subtracting 4.37. And the answer is 1.55. So I'm just curious, does anybody know, raise your hand if you know how to check to see if this is the correct answer. So a few of you do, okay? So go ahead and put your hands down. Let me do something else here. What if I had a simple problem like 10 subtracting 2 equals 8? Looking at that for a moment, how could I use addition to see if that is the correct answer? All right, let me pull a stick here. Fair, I'll try one here. Miss Adams, how could I use addition to see if this is the correct answer? Right. You'd look at your solution and you'd add 2 to it. And so 8 plus 2 does equal 10. And so put up 10 points. So the same thing can be applied to this problem right here. It says, how can you use addition to check that 1.55 is the correct answer? Well, you could add 4.37 plus 1.55, and you would get 5.92 if your sums were accurate. Okay? Mr. Willard, sit up straight, please. This is not a lounge. Thank you. All right. Number 2, it says Maria rewrote 45.59 minus 7.9 as 45.59 subtracting 7.90. So she added a 0. It says, did she change the value of 7.9 by placing a 0 after the 0.9? No. Good. Most of you recognize that. The answer is no. And because adding a 0. Now, before I finish this, I'm going to point something out to you guys that you probably intuitively know. And what I mean by that is you probably know really without thinking about it. But I want to point it out to you. Here's a number. Here's number 21. Okay? If I add a 0 to that, does it change its value?
No.
It doesn't?
It does.
Went from 21 to 210. What if I What if I added another 0? Does it change its value?
Yes.
Yeah, it's now 2,100. What if I add another 0? Does it change its value?
Yes.
Yeah, it's now 21,000. Holy cow. So it makes a difference if I add a 0. But what if I had a number 2.1 and I added a 0? Does it change its value? No. What's the difference? Yeah.
One's a number and the other one's a decimal.
Well, they're both numbers, but I think what you're pointing out is that adding a 0 to a number, as you said, that has a decimal, you could do that all day, and it's not going to change the value. I could add a 0, 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 add a 0. I could just keep adding zeros all day. Okay, that's a lot of zeros. It's not going to change the value. So adding a 0 at the end of a decimal is not going to change the value. Okay? And I think you guys knew that, but now somebody, your teacher, has pointed it out to you. All right? So, anyways, I'm going to go back to this question here. And I said no, because adding a 0, I'm going to say at the end, not the end of a number, the end of a decimal does not change the value. And of course, they give you lots of room to write all that down, huh? All right? Yeah, right. So let's look at some of these. You guys, there's lots of different ways you could do these problems. Again, you could use a number line if that helped. You could do the partial products. They gave both those examples up above. Or you could just, do it this way. Here, let's take a look. I'm doing number 6 right now. Let me go back to circling that. So here's number 6. And it is 4.08. And we're subtracting 2.12. Now I'm going to put a dollar sign here. Don't forget, the answer will need a dollar sign. So, 2 from 8, what's that leave us? 6. Can we take 1 from 0? No, we're going to have to borrow. That becomes a 3. So the 0 becomes 10, and you take 1 from 10, and that is 9. Bring the decimal straight down. Remember, you always want to line up the decimals. Talked about this on Friday. And then finally, 2 from 3 is 1, and don't forget the dollar sign. And so it looks like it's $1.96 if I did my math correctly. So I'm going to put a little dollar sign right here, and I'm going to put 1.96. Questions about that? Anybody? I had mentioned before that usually the word problems you have to label it. Maybe it's going to be pounds or centimeters or ounces or dollars. But some of these occasionally will have a symbol you'll have to put in. I'm looking at another one here. I mean, this one we just did, that's got a dollar sign, that has a dollar sign, that has a dollar sign. So make sure you label them. All right? I'm looking down below, 11 through 22. I see some more dollar signs, some more dollar signs. Is there any others? Yeah, number 12 has a dollar sign, so you would label those because they're talking about money. Okay, let's look at the next page here. We're under 10 minutes. We're doing pretty good. All right, problem solving. Let's see here. It says the pyramid of, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Khafre, measured 143.5 meters high. The pyramid of Menkaure, boy, it'd be nice if they would give me a pronunciation key for these, measured 65.5 meters high. Write and solve an equation to find D. And D is, they tell you what D is, it's the difference the difference, whoops, it's not what I wanted. Come on, I want a highlighter. There we go. D is the difference in the heights of those two pyramids. So it says write and solve the equation. So if we're finding the difference, it's just going to be 143.5 subtracting 65.5, and that's going to equal something, and I'll let you guys figure that one out. Number 28, Jonah bought a 1.5 liter bottle of seltzer. He used 0.8 liter of the seltzer and some punch. Which is greater, the amount he used or the amount he has left? All right, I'm going to highlight that. Which is greater? That's the question. Which is greater? The amount he used or the amount he has left? So how much did he use? Let's break this down a little bit. I'm going to write this down here. Used equals Miss Ramirez. Oh, she's not here. Mr. Button. How much did he use? They even give it to us. Can you see it there? Look at it again. Yeah, actually, not 1.8, but 0.8. Okay, I could have put 0.8, but just easier to write 0.8. That's how much he used. And then they want to know how much he has left. And I'm going to put a little equal sign there. We don't know how much he has left because you're going to have to do a little bit of math here. You're going to have to take 1.5 and you're going to have to subtract 0.8. Okay? Or you could have written it like this, 1.5 subtracting 0.8. It's going to be the same thing. You'll get the same answer no matter what. So that'll be the answer. So once you have this, whatever this is going to be, once you have that, then you will have that. And then you can compare the two. Okay? Number 29, Sue subtracted 2.9 from 20.9 and got 1.8. Explain why this is not reasonable. So let me show you why this would not be reasonable. So this is what we've got here. I'm going to put 20.9 and we're subtracting, or she did, 2.9. What is 20.9 close to, if I was just to round it off?
2.9.
No. What is 20.9 close to? It's close to 20, but it's closer to what? 21. So I could just call this 21. What is 2.9 close to? 3. Okay, that's what some of you were talking about earlier. What is 21 subtract 3? 18. Okay, you guys know that. So let's take a look at this. 18. And so we know it's 18. I mean, it's going to be, really close to 18. What did she get? Look at it. She got 1.8. She's not even close. Okay? So yeah, obviously the decimal's in the wrong place. But so it says explain why this is not reasonable, because we just rounded it and saw what this person would get close to. Okay, so I'll let you put that in your own words. All right, we're at 14 minutes here. I'm looking at number 30. It says Abe has 156.43 in his bank account at the beginning of the month, and he made 2 withdrawals. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question here. Whoops, want my highlighter. He made 2 withdrawals. For 10 points, Miss Jennings, what's a withdrawal from a bank account? Can you tell me what that means?
Take from?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Put up 10 points. It means taking from. So he took money out twice. And it says, how much money did he have left in his bank account? He must have at least $100 in his account by the end of the month, or he'll be charged a fee. Okay, so you got to figure out how much money he has left. That's the question. After his withdrawals, how much money does he have left? And then it says, how much money does he need to deposit to avoid being charged a fee? So there's two questions. How much did he have left after the withdrawals, or as Miss Jennings put, taking money out? And it's probably less than 100 because apparently he needs to put some money back in to keep it to at least 100 or more. Otherwise, he's charged a fee. So I'll let you guys do that one. 31, circle all the subtraction problems with the difference of 1.65. Here's what they're asking you to do. If you do each one of these, some of them, the answer will be 1.65. And if it's these two, like this one here and this one here, then you would circle them. If the answer is 1.65, that's what they're asking you to do, to circle the ones that have a solution or an answer of 1.65. Okay? Questions on this? Anybody? No? Okay. Well, under 17 minutes, that's pretty good here. Stop.